Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today, guys, I'm going to be continuing my AFL 2024 round reviews and round previews instead of reviewing round 12 and previewing round 13. Going to be starting off as per usual with the previous round review, and this one was round 12, the start of the bye round. Just 7 games this round to review, but the first one was Port Adelaide and Carlton in the Thursday night, and it was the Blues that won this game by 36 points, showing that they are a real contender and a big bounce back to form. On the Friday night, it was undermanned Collingwood playing an undermanned Western Bulldogs in a game which the Doggies won by 18 points in a seesawing affair. Hawthorn have put their name forward as a finals contender in 2024, knocking off the Crows by 27 points. And in the twilight, the Saints got the job done against the Eagles by 14 points. Saturday night, Richmond, they put up a very good fight against the Cats, but the Cats are too strong. In Geelong, winning by 30 points. First game on the Sunday was in Alice Springs, and it saw the Dockers destroy the Demons by 92 points. And then Gold Coast defeated Essendon by 11 points in a thriller to end off the round, and the byes for the last round for Brisbane, North Melbourne, Sydney, and the Giants. So this is a ladder heading into the round. The top two has not changed from last round. There's been plenty of movement from 3rd to 10th, with the Demons sliding all the way down to 10th after their huge loss. Make sure to pause if you want to see the full thing. Of course, with the byes and all that, the Coleman medal and the ladder will look different, but Ben King and Charlie Curnow both equal top on 36 goals as well at the moment. Alright, now for the round 13 preview, and if we go ahead and have a look, it'll be Port Adelaide and Fremantle with their byes for this round. And starting off on the Thursday night, the final Thursday night game of the year. I mean, there might be one in finals, but for what we know, the final Thursday night game of the year is going to be the Crows and the Tigers at the Adelaide Oval. And this one is going to be interesting, but definitely not as interesting as we've had other Thursday night games. Dustin Martin will not be playing in this game either, so it's going to be a very undermanned Tigers outfit taking on the Adelaide Crows, who also have got their issues as well. But I mean, this one really for the Crows, that they lost last week to the Hawks, and that probably really does leave them out of finals contention. This is their last chance of having a crack, and you'd really think they've got to win their next 3 games. If there are any chance, at a bare minimum, you've got to win them, and then you've got to rely on winning a lot more. So they've got to have a lot going right for them. If they're to make finals this year, it's going to be really hard from here, and definitely dropping this game is not going to make an almost impossible task any easier. And for the Tigers now, I mean, they're out of the race, of course, as well, and it's just trying to play spoiler, get a few upset wins where you can, and still try and make a respectable looking year, trying to get as many wins as you can later on in the year, but it's going to be hard for them. They've had horrible injuries throughout the year. They suffered even more last week. But if they can bring pressure and all that'll give them a chance. That is what a game of footy can be set up on, is pressure. If all goes wrong, pressure still and effort needs to be there, and they did do pretty well last week against the Cats. I think the Crows will come out and be the better side. I don't think they're going to dismantle them though. 28 points, Crows by 28 Thursday night. Friday night footy is going to be the Western Bulldogs taking on Brisbane, and we'll start with Brisbane coming off the bye. They're going to be looking to put up a much better performance than what they did a few weeks ago against the Hawks. That one was definitely disappointing for the Lions, but this is a big game for them, because if they lose this game, again, just like the Crows, their finals hopes are probably just about done. And they'll be having to, again, pull off a really good miracle later on the year if they are to make finals. So they're going to be wanting to win this game. And the Dogs, well, they played really well against the Pies last week, and they're going to want to win it as well. They're going to be without Darcy for this one, it will seem. But the Lions, they're the big ones coming off the bye. They've got to put a good game together here, and they really have to win this game because their finals hopes are on the line. I think the Doggies will be too strong. They played pretty well last week, and I think they'll win this game by 25 points. But this one is a really interesting one. First game Saturday is going to be Hawthorn taking on the Giants at UTAS Stadium. The Giants are also coming off the bye. And last week, the Hawks, they played pretty well against the Crows. They put up a full 4-quarter performance and played really well right the way through. There was a few nervous times there for the Hawks, or it did look like they might have ended up coughing that one up, but in the end, the composure just to go on and win the game pretty comfortably in the end as well was really good. And they've got their names as a finals contender, and they're a scary team to play at the moment. They're looking really good. They've put some really good forms together over the past few weeks, and they are looking good. And this is a game which I reckon they're a good chance in. And against a good Giants side, this is where it's 12th versus 7th. It's pretty tight. This is where a win here can give you some hope and really jump into the pack, where a loss just creates more distance. And again, if you're allowing like 10 sides to get a lot of wins, then it'll be quite hard towards the back end getting in. So I think the Hawks really need to win this game if they're a chance to be a finals contender. I reckon they'll pull off the upset, winning by 5 points, but I reckon this will be a great game. But yeah, my tip is the Hawks by 5. In the twilight, it's going to be West Coast taking on North Melbourne at Optus Stadium. North Melbourne, they're also coming off the bye. After having a few really impressive weeks, they played alright against Essendon, and they played okay against Port Adelaide as well. So they've played alright the past couple of weeks. The Port Adelaide game wasn't the best, but the Essendon one was definitely, there was definitely a few good things to take out of that for the Kangaroos. Some fight and effort was shown in that one, and now heading over to the West in a winnable game for them, taking on West Coast. It's not like it's going to be the easiest task for them ever, but compared to how distant they've been in some games, this one could be closer. But West Coast have played very well at home. I mean, they played well against Fremantle and Melbourne. Not so well against St Kilda last week, and the Eagles, unless if Harley Reid gets off somehow, which it's almost impossible to see that happening, they're going to be without him. And North Melbourne, they got a few really good talents as well on their list that could potentially put their name forward for the Rising Star, but I do think the Eagles will be too strong, winning this game by 37 points. Saturday night footy is going to be a big game. This is a massive game for one side, way more than the other. This is a massive game for Gold Coast, and I say that because they've got to win games away from home. They're in 8th at the moment, they're in the top 8, but to make finals, they're going to be relying on winning most of their home games, which they are a force, they're a force to be reckoned with at home. They're a really good side at home, but you've got to win a couple of away games as well, which they'll have the opportunities to do that at some stage, but got to win a couple of away games. This one is definitely one of those which is winnable, and it's just huge for them. This game is simply huge because, they're going to win most of their home games, but you got to win a couple of away games as well to show you're a real contender. And, this game is just simply massive for the Gold Coast Suns. So big, so huge for them. And for St Kilda, well, they played really well last week, and they're going to be looking to take a bit of form, bit of momentum, and get on a bit of a run of wins here. That'd be nice for them. Now, I think Gold Coast are going to win this game. I think the way they played last week, they played really well. I think they're going to win this game by 9 points in a cracking game. First game, Sunday, is going to be the Swans taking on the Cats of the SCG. First versus third, so seems to be pretty good on the ladder, but the Cats, they've dropped off the past few weeks, and they're lucky to be in third at the moment. Last week against Richmond was definitely not the best footy they've played all year, and Swans off the bye, they're the best team in the competition at the moment. They're playing so well, they're a class above, and at the SCG, they're even better. So this is going to be a hard game for Geelong, because Geelong have been down the last few weeks, haven't been playing their best footy, and of course they did get the win last week, but it wasn't the most comfortable or amazing or best wins ever. I mean, I'm just going to go straight to the point. I think the Swans will be too strong at the SCG winning this game by 47 points. I feel like this game, if Geelong can play well, I feel like this game is simply huge for Geelong. If they can play well, it's huge for their year, but I reckon there's a chance they could get destroyed in this one, and I think they'll lose by 47 points. And Sunday night, King's birthday eve, is going to be Essendon and Carlton, a big rivalry at the MCG. Two big sides that are up and about, and, well, hopefully it'll be Ben Mackay versus Harry Mackay as well, Essendon versus Carlton. This one is a massive game of footy. And, well, the Blues last week, huge win against the Power. It was a very good win away from home for the Blues, and that will give them a lot of confidence. They'll be feeling up and about, feeling like they're a contender, feeling like they're playing good footy at the moment. And last week was exactly that, managing to put on plenty of goals in a short time. And Essendon, I don't think there's too much that they've lost out of that game against Gold Coast. It was always going to be hard going up there playing a side which is so strong at home and have a fortress at their home venue. And they went up there, played pretty well, and to be completely honest, pretty much kicked themselves out of the game. They were inaccurate, where Gold Coast was very accurate, so I reckon if they had a kick straight, they would have won the game of footy, the Bombers. So I don't think there's too much to be disappointed with there for Essendon. I think they played pretty well last week. Still, a loss is a loss, and that's the way it goes, but they're still in second, and they still played alright, and probably could have won the game had they kicked straighter. And I feel like this game will be a really good game for you. I think it'll be high scoring. I mean, you've got Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay, and then you've got Cole Langford, Peter Wright, Jake String. You've got plenty of big name forwards in this game. I think that this one's going to be a high scoring game of footy. I think the Blues will win by 13 points, but I think this will be a great game of footy. And of course, big freeze Monday, King's birthday Monday, Collingwood taking on Melbourne at the MCG, and this one is a massive game. Melbourne, they got destroyed last week against Fremantle. They're not going to want that again. I mean, this is a big blockbuster prime time game. Do not want to get embarrassed in one of those. And of course, taking on a big club in Collingwood who wouldn't have been happy with last week's result. They've got plenty of players out at the moment and did go down to the Doggies by 18 points. This one's going to be a really interesting game. Both sides need to respond. Both sides find themselves out of the 8 where they'd like to be in the 8. So, I mean, the loser here will get a little bit further behind the pack than what they'd like to be. And I think Collingwood will win this game by 26 points. I think they'll just be too strong, but there's got to be some sort of response from both these two sides, really. But there's definitely going to be more of the spotlight on Melbourne for this one, considering their last week performance. But I think the Pies will win this game by 26 points in a relatively low-scoring game. And, of course, Fremantle and Port Adelaide have their buys this round, so we'll go back through my tips for round 13. So it's Adelaide, the Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn, West Coast, Gold Coast, Sydney, Carlton, and Collingwood. It's a massive round of footy, this one. We'll go and have a look at what I think the ladder will be after the round. So this is what I think the ladder will be after the round. We've got a brilliant round of games. Make sure to pause if you want to see the full thing. Alright, so a brilliant round of footy this round with some brilliant games. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys all so much. So please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys next time video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much. Bye everyone. Flame Footy out.